It says we're live, but I need to double check. Okay, we don't want to be hearing ourselves 50 times. So we are live. We're here. I promise I won't be so gloomy. People come into my live chat. People say things. That's all I ask for. Anyways. What was I saying? I can't remember. So I've deleted more videos off TikTok. Not for any of the other reasons, just because I don't know. I didn't want them on TikTok anymore. And I've been contemplating if there's two videos that are supposed to be coming for YouTube. I think one of them is on Friday and the other one is on Monday. And I've been contemplating deleting them because I have talked about the same subject as what's being talked about them in over the last week or so, and I think I just be repeating myself again and again and again. This is the song that never ends, right? We all know that song. This is the song that never ends. It goes on and on, my friends. It's the dead horse that we all beat with the same stick. But anyways, so the two videos are called Nothing to Talk About Downworld Spiral and Nothing to Talk About Downworld Spiral Part 2. And they do, one is a working video sort of with Belith. It's a love spell. And the second one is talking more about what to do when your Book of Shadows starts overfilling. And one of the reasons I've been thinking about deleting them, as I already said, is because they essentially say the same thing that I've talked about, where I feel like I have nothing left to talk about on this channel. Even though we have an entire month of content coming in June, 12 videos 3 times a week, starting at, what is it? Does it start at, let me check on my phone. I think it starts on May 26th and goes until June something, the end of June. And let me see, when was this video? Yeah, so it starts on May 26th and goes until June 30th. So there's 3 times a week, 12, 13, maybe 14 videos of content. It's fun and exciting times, right? So I don't know. I've been wrestling with if I want to delete them, but we also talk about other things. So I don't know. I'll probably end up leaving them up. Oh, hello, Cindy S. It's glad that you're here. Okay, so last time that I was on a live chat, was it on Monday? No, it was on Sunday. I don't know. But the YouTube thing is working now, because last time it showed me that there was 0 people, and then 1 person popped in and then quickly went away. And so I don't know if people were watching last time during my live video or if I was literally all alone. But this time it shows me there's 4 people. So I'm very happy about that. I hope all of you are doing fantastically fabulous, my little tubies and scoobies and dirty old boobies, okay? Wash those dirty old boobies. So the 2 topics I wanted to talk about today is in relation to how I do my workings and how I portray them on the internet, essentially. Because you guys have seen my working videos. You've seen my Dentalian working for a friend. I have another working video that's coming up tomorrow. That's literally a working video. And somebody had asked, this is beautiful, well done, thank you for sharing. I really enjoy watching your working videos. I would be interested to hear about your steps prior to working. Do you have special process for cleansing self and space? How do you raise power, etc.? Maybe a video topic from you. And to these 2 topics, I said that I would do them on Sunday, because for some reason I just recording videos on Sunday and uploading them in the evening, although sometimes I record the video on the Saturday prior. It really depends on my gaming schedule on Saturdays, okay? Because sometimes my gaming schedule can just go from like 8 in the morning until like 8 at night. It really depends on what I'm doing. So I wanted to talk about this particular topic of like the steps prior to how I do my witchcraft. So it all starts out with like a thought or a conversation with the spirits, or sometimes, as I've told you guys in the past, the spirits like to tell me exactly what it is that I'm doing. Wait, what did Cindy say? This past Sunday? I think it was this. Let me check to see when that live video went up. Let's see here. I'm looking on my phone. Calm down. So that live video went up on I don't know. It doesn't tell me. It doesn't tell me. And I don't understand why it doesn't tell me, but I think it was Sunday. I don't know. I can tell you right now that my live videos get way more views than any other video that I do. Like, within the 100 range, which is what's normal for my channel, not this like 30 or 40 views that I get. And I'm just like, I don't really like doing live videos because I don't have anybody else to talk. We've already been down that road. Remember, we're being less doom and gloom and just a little, I don't know, whatever. So anyways, going back to my topic that I was talking about. So when it comes to me doing a ritual or a working or a spell, very few times is it me just wanting to try something. Like, for me, magic is sometimes an experiment. Sometimes I get told by the spirits, and it can be images of certain herbs or certain candles, or certain placements of things, and it can be images of things that will come to me. So maybe it's money. It's usually money because I'm a money witch. Sometimes it's love spells. Sometimes it's a curse or a hex, or I need to throw something back at somebody, or something is coming, or whatever the case may be. Usually for the ones where it's like I need to throw something back at someone, that is like within, it's always on the same day. Like, it's never like the next day or whatever. It's always like the same day. And I start to feel the energy shift in my place and in my space. And I start to feel, just this sense of something needs to be done. Oh, I have a light that's in my way and it's like causing a glare. So that's why I'm like looking all over the place. Well, hello, beautiful. Hello, Willow Moonshine. How are you? Let me see if I can move this light a little bit. Like, so I'm staring at you people on like a 50-inch TV, which is my monitor, because I don't know, sitting this close to a television screen is apparently really great for your eyes. I don't know. I was watching a SciShow episode where they were talking, it's on YouTube, it's a channel on YouTube, where they were talking about if sitting too close to a television is bad for your eyes. And apparently with modern day televisions, it's not actually that bad for your eyes, but in the olden days, y'all remember when you had TVs in your house that were like floor TVs and they were like encased in wood, and your parents would have like plants sitting on top of them, and they were like really, really heavy to move, the old CRTs and whatnot. Yeah, sitting close to one of those is bad for your eyes, but I don't know. It's a flat screen 50-inch TV. If I go blind, I go blind, like whatever. I won't be the first blind witch, and I won't be the last blind witch, okay? Some of the other processes involved in doing the magics that I do, again, like I said, you know, the spirits will usually tell me. It's always usually the spirits. Sometimes it's like a demon will reach out, like Boone or Belith. Very rarely Belith. Very rarely. In fact, maybe once did he ever reach. Sometimes an Ashtaroth, sometimes a Morrigan, although she hasn't been around very much lately. In fact, she's around in my dreams, but it's not her. It's like the message that she's trying to relay to me through the images of my dreams and through the dreams that I've been having. And some of my dreams lately have been apocalyptic, or they've been like finding love in really weird places, or they've just been of just various random things. Sometimes I had a dream about one of my teeth on the bottom breaking and like being on the ground, and I don't know, it worried me. I saw another person on TikTok who's like missing a tooth, and their like teeth are all like disheveled and just not taken care of properly. And I won't lie, I haven't been to a dentist since I was 18, and I'm 32 going on 33, so you do the math. But at the end of the day, right, like take care of your teeth, everybody. They can literally just fall out of your head. Don't let that happen. But yeah, so sometimes it can be like a spirit, like the spirits themselves. And when I talk about the spirits, because some people are always curious, like, what do you mean when you say the spirits? The spirits of the dead, the spirits of the land, the spirits of the ancestors, of my ancestors, who, as I said in my last live video, I don't know who my ancestors are. So that's why I refer to them as the spirits of the ancestors, right? So when I talk about spirits, that's usually what I mean. And it's usually always them, the spirits, that reach out and they're like, we need you to do this, or you have to do this, or this is coming and you should do this to prepare for it. But I don't do spellcraft as much as my YouTube channel would suggest that I do. So while you guys might get like, say, 12 videos 3 times a week, for an entire month, right? I am not always like in between the recordings. I'm not like at my altar. One of the times that I like to record is when I'm sitting down at the altar, because usually I can show you guys something, or I can talk about something, or we can be crazy and psychotic together. They say when you dream about something happening to your teeth, it's your subconscious worrying about aging. There's a lot on the interpretation of dreams around everything. So I looked up some of the interpretation around losing your teeth in a dream, and it can mean many things. It can be about stresses in your life. It can be about things in your life that are taking hold of you and you feel trapped and you can't get out of it. It can mean many, many things. I had a dream that I had a brain tumor, like an incurable brain tumor. And I looked that up, and it can mean anything, right? Like if you Google any of your dreams, you're going to get pages and pages of different people's opinions and ideas, and even some like psychology or majors that are going to talk about like, this is what it means when you dream about finding love. And then you'll find like 20 people that will say 20 different things, right? So it's really all up to you on what your interpretation is and how you apply that to your life. So, side story. Right? This is what I'm known for. We never stay on topic. I ran out of coils for this thing last week on Thursday, and that was the worst. The worst. So if you don't know, this is called a rebuildable deck atomizer, so an RDA. So behind the glass and behind the metal that you can see here, behind the juice, is coils that I have to put in myself, and then I thread special cotton through it. You wouldn't use any like cotton that you buy at like Walmart or anything like that, right? So there's special cotton that you would get for your vapes, and I thread it through, and I prep it by putting juice on it and burning off the excess, because you don't want that cotton taste. So you put the juice on, you let it soak for a minute, and then you light it on fire by pressing the button and taking a lighter and lighting it on fire for just a couple of seconds. You don't want to burn the cotton. And anyways, so I didn't have any extra coils to put into this. And so I ran out of coils, and it was right at 8 o'clock at night, right when the vape stores close. So I thought, okay, I'll just go tomorrow at 10 in the morning and get some coils, right? And the night was fine. I got through the night fine. But the next day it was a rage, just a rage. I was just ready to kill somebody. Like, I was just viciously angry and just, you know how they say nicotine withdrawal is like an insanity on its own? Like, I didn't have a headache and I didn't feel nauseous or anything, but the rage, the rapid mood swings. So I went and I got some coils, and I got home, and I was like, I just hated everybody and I hated everything. And I was just screaming at the top of my mind, right? And I put the coils in, but I ended up shorting them out and basically wrecking the coils. So I had to go to a different vape shop and be like, listen, I need you to help me put coils in this thing because I'm going through some serious nicotine withdrawal and I can't seem to do it properly. And so the guy helped me, and I got home and I put the cotton in, I put the juice in, and I vaped. I just for 20 minutes, I just vaped as hard and as much as I could and felt instantly better. Just instantly better. And I was just, ever since, I'm like, just all the time. You know, if you're a smoker, don't give it up. It's a horrible thing to say, I know, but if you're a smoker, don't quit. Okay, don't. Switch to vaping, right? To like get off the nasty 7,000 chemicals, but don't give up the nicotine, okay? It's not good for your health. I mean, the nicotine isn't good for your health, and the amount that I vape is probably the equivalent to smoking 2 king-size packs of cigarettes in an hour. So, you know, don't give it up. Cindy says I am. Oh, Cindy, stay away from everybody. Lather yourself in nicotine patches and just stay away from everybody. I could never give up vaping. Never. I vape in the morning. I vape all day at work. I vape at night. I vape before I go to bed. And then when I wake up in the morning, it's like, if I don't have my vape in my hand, I swear to God, I swear. I don't even need coffee. I just need vape. That's all I need. I have tried to quit. It didn't work out. No, it doesn't work out good. Don't do it. Trust. I mean, quit smoking, but move on to vaping. Keep the nicotine. I once tried the nicotine patches and the nicotine gum. It just made me nauseous. I don't know what it is. In these juice bottles, I know it says, like, I don't know if you can see it, but it says 6 milligrams. It's not. I have them spike it to a 12. That's 60 milliliters. Where does it say 6 milligrams? It doesn't. Okay. So, oh, no, it does. You won't be able to see this, I don't think. But I don't know if that's going to be backwards for you. It's backwards for me. But it says 6 milligrams of nicotine. I have them spike it to a 12. And that's probably the equivalent of like 2 or 3 cigarettes. I don't know. I need it to go higher. Like a 16 or so, but they have to charge me. I usually will have like a Powerade in the morning. I can't do coffee because I'm worried it'll wreck my teeth. I used to drink a lot of pop, like a lot of pop. In college, I lived off of Coca-Cola and rice. I was that poor. And I used to drink a lot of pop. And I'm so surprised that my teeth have not fallen out of my head with the amount of pop that I drank. One of my top teeth, at the end of it, like, I don't know, this part of it, it's a little see-through. It doesn't hurt or anything, and it's not in danger of breaking. It's just a little see-through. And, but no, I used to drink a lot of pop, and I gave it up because I was really worried about my teeth. I don't know. I'm just always worried about my teeth. So I drink Powerade. Gatorade is just sugar water. That's all it is. And Powerade has all these B vitamins in it. So I'm like, I'm gonna drink this. And then I can go through like 5 or 6 Powerade. They're like the same size as like a Gatorade bottle, like the long skinny ones. I can go through 5 or 6 of those a day. It's disgusting. I've really got to cut back on that because that's like 22 grams of sugar in an entire thing of it, right? Like God knows what that's doing to my teeth. But I always have to be drinking something. I don't like water. I don't know. I like carbonated water, so maybe I'll start just drinking tons of carbonated water. I don't know. We'll see. But can we go back to the topic at hand? Like, I just go off on these tangents and just go off and off and off. And I know that people like these live videos because they can just put them on in the background and go do whatever they want. It is a lot of sugar, trust. But think about how much sugar a can of Coca-Cola has. And then take that can and times it by 24. Because that's how much I was drinking a day. So... But anyways, let's go back to the topic at hand, because I know some people like Luna and Wisdom get mad when I just go off on these tangents. I mean, she doesn't even watch my videos anymore. It's depressing. So we were talking about like how I prepare for magics. So once the spirits have generally told me like, or shown me, and it's never like you need these ingredients and you need to put these intentions in and you need to do this and you need to do that. It's like flashes of images of things that are needed for the working. And then I just figure out the rest myself based off of what I have on hand in terms of candles. I like to do a lot of candle magic. Just because I think the flames are really pretty and I can put them on TikTok and get a lot of hate messages, as we've already discovered in my dark side of TikTok video. I mean, TikTok is just a really toxic, negative, nasty place. I deleted a video that I put up on not liking aesthetic altars because just throughout the entire day, and I delete a lot of these comments, but throughout the entire day, I just kept getting comment after comment of like, how dare you attack somebody for having an aesthetic altar? And I wasn't even attacking them. I was like, I don't like aesthetic altars. They don't look like they do anything. But if that's what you like, then you do you, right? Like there was nothing negative about that. So I just deleted the video and was like, enough of this nonsense. Like I'm not putting up with this anymore. And somebody had mentioned on that video to not give those people so much energy and to like do like a return to sender type spell. And as an empath, it's really difficult. And for those of you who are empaths, you'll understand this. It's really difficult to not give energy to something because it latches on to you, especially if you're like a sensitive person, right? And which is funny coming from me because I throw a lot of shade, but I can't take any. I can punch a person in the face, but I run away when they want to punch me in the face, right? But it's really difficult to not take things that somebody says at you personally. I mean, it's easier to say not to worry about it or not to pay it any mind or not to give it any attention, but it's actually a lot more difficult to put into practice. As a Virgo, as a empath, as a sensitive person, it's difficult to separate myself from that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I had so many issues with, or have so many issues with my channel, of not having people to do interviews with. Well, not interviews, but like chat with on live streams. So I just chat with myself, right? And like not having friends in the community and so on and so forth, because like there's a certain level of energy that even when it's just two people sitting like on a live stream and like one person's on the other side of the country and you're like on your side of the country, or if you're in two different countries, right? Like with Solitary Luna, you could feel the energy between us. There was a positive energy, but you could feel the energy between us. And with Lunar Wisdom, there's an energy between us, right? And when you're just one person, it just, I don't know, it kind of feels lonely. So anyways, so going back to the topic at hand, because we just keep going way off subject. So once I have been given the idea of the magical spell, once I've been given the idea of some, not all, I'm never given all of the ingredients, right? So once I've given the idea of some of the ingredients that could go into a spell and what that spell is usually for, is when I'll sit down at the altar. And like I was saying before we went way off topic, I like to record YouTube videos when I'm at the altar. And I'm not always at the altar, so I'm not always recording YouTube videos. Sometimes I will find excuses to record YouTube videos. I don't really like doing the sit down talking videos. I like doing the here's my altar, here's what we're doing type of things, or like working videos. I don't know. It's just what I like doing. Anyways, so I'll sit down at the altar and I will decide like, okay, based off of the candles that I have on hand, what can I use for this? Because as I already stated, I like doing a lot of candle magic. I have, I've been needing to get some self-drying clay to make some poppets, and for a series that I want to do for October. And I've also been wanting to make Boone kind of like a little candle statue. So it'd be essentially a poppet man, but it would have his sigil on him in some way, maybe wrapping around him or something. And then the head would be where the candle sits. So it'd be like a candle holder, essentially. And I like self-drying clay because not only when it dries is it almost, but not completely, rock hard, it's also kind of like fire safe. So like if I overdress the candle or something, yeah, the little clay poppet man might catch on fire for a minute, like where the candle's being held, but I don't have to worry about it becoming a fire hazard or anything like that. So it's usually at that point about gathering the tools and whatnot and sitting down and recording the video and talking to you guys and doing whatever the working is. Now, the person did go on to ask about, and I have to find my comment section again, so give me a second while I go through the comments on my phone to find out where the thingamajiggy is. The thingamajiggy, the thingamajiggy. I don't know where it is now. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Do you have any special processes for cleansing self and space? So, no. Sometimes you'll see that I'll like do a little cleansing of the space, especially if I'm working with demons, but not really. I don't cleanse my tools that I use, if I use any, which is like never. I don't cleanse containers that I put things in. I don't cleanse my candles. I don't, like on Thursdays when I clean my place, I cleanse my altar, right, with my little sage stick, and I'm just mostly removing negative energy, right? Like we remember, sage is a lie, and it's great for cleansing negative energy, not so much negative entities or negative spirits out of your space. More often than not, Sage will just piss them off, right? And then you've got a whole other situation on your hand to deal with. If you're, like, I think I said this in one of my videos that's upcoming, if you're looking to cleanse out negative entities or spirits. In fact, I have a frankincense video that's coming on the magical and medical uses of frankincense. And frankincense is a good one to use to cleanse out negative entities and spirits. But in my opinion, frankincense alone isn't going to be enough, depending on the situation, the entity, how it got there, all of that stuff, right? And sometimes we can manifest those negative entities and negative spirits by just releasing that negative energy into our space that we may be holding on to, and we release it into our space, and it can manifest as some form of like entity. It's not necessarily that it manifests as like a spirit or it manifests as like a demon, but it can just manifest as an entity that can wreak havoc in our spaces. So in terms of cleansing, I mean, I cleanse my place on Thursdays, but in terms of like cleansing my sacred space, not really. Not when I'm about to do a working, at least. If I've been working with demons, I will cleanse afterwards, but it's usually with sage because I've already dismissed the demons or the entities that I've been working with. I've already said, you know, peace the fuck out. But that also depends because most of the time when I'm doing a working, the entities will stick around to put their energy in, and if I start cleansing right away, right, like you could piss them off and then they won't do what you're asking them to do. So it's usually the next day or the day after. If there's offerings for the entities, then I'll wait until the Thursday. I try not to do workings on like Wednesday nights because I know I'm cleansing the space the next day. So I try to do it on like a Tuesday or like a Thursday. How do you raise power, etc.? So in terms of raising power for my magical workings, like you remember, like, well, you guys already know, like every time I'm like, okay, it's time to put intentions in, right? So we sit down and you see the little hands come out and we put some magical intentions in and there's some magical music that goes on, right? A lot of that is done off camera. Like I'll show you the first little bit of it and then I'll do the rest off camera, which we'll get into the second topic. That's more for the second topic. But in terms of raising the energy, it's usually calling upon the entity, and demons are really difficult to work with on camera. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's some of them like it, some of them don't. Some of them get bored of it after a while because they're like, you've shown the same thing 25,000 times, 25,000 different ways. Like, we're tired of this, right? So, I mean, the Morrigan doesn't really care. Sometimes the spirits never care. And so what I usually do when we start to put intentions in is I will conjure up the spirits to get the energy flowing and call upon their energy to start putting the intentions in. That's why usually the intention aspect of my videos are very short, maybe a couple of minutes or so. That is not all there is to working, in case you were wondering. And again, we'll talk about that in the second part of the subject. But yeah, so like I will conjure up the spirit. Sometimes I'll conjure up the elements, or sometimes I'll just pull the energy from myself, which can be very exhausting, very draining, and very just like mentally and emotionally taxing as you're sucking energy literally out of your bones to put into something, right? And then afterwards is when I'm done the video or recording the video, like even though we light the candle doesn't mean that it's done, right? Like there's other things that have to happen. And usually if I'm working with a demon, I will try to contact them while I'm putting the intentions in for you guys, but that's difficult. So after the video, what I'll do is I will then go and conjure the entity or entities that I'm looking to conjure. It's usually easier to do those in a working video as opposed to a video where I'm chatting and then putting intentions in, because my attention isn't divided between trying to either educate you or show you something. It's usually just like you're going to get this cinematic masterpiece that I've put together. And I can just focus on calling up the entities and the spirits and so on and so forth. But even with working videos, that's not all there is to it. They might be these 20-minute long or 10-minute long or 30-minute long working videos. I mean, in the past, I've shown you everything in working videos where I've done like 40-minute long working videos, right? Usually for me, a spell can take, for me to feel satisfied that there's enough energy in it to sustain itself, or that the entity that I'm working with is satisfied that I can step away. It can sometimes take 5 minutes, but it can also take up to 45 minutes. It really does depend on the working in question and how much I need that thing to come to fruition, right? I like Palo Santo. I love Palo Santo. I love the smell of Palo Santo, but it can sometimes be a bit much. It's like Neg Champa. Neg Champa, I love burning Neg Champa incense sticks. I always buy Neg Champa incense sticks, and I always buy vampire blood incense sticks. But they're so rich and so heavy that burning 2 incense sticks, I usually always have to put out 1 incense stick. And with vampire blood, even if I burn 1 incense stick, sometimes I have to put it out because it's too much. It hurts my eyes. So, but that one I hope answers Robin Rain's question. I did tell her that I was going to do this on like a Sunday video, so I hope she gets to see, or he or they get to see this video, because I'm not doing it on Sunday. I'm sorry, I did it here. If you missed it, that's a you thing, not a me thing, but I love you long time. So the other subject that I wanted to talk about, you know me, we'll probably go off on like 20,000 different rants about 20,000 different things that pertains nothing to the subject. That was a really long message. Where's the other one? I'm just kind of reading this message here for a second to see where I can pick up on it. Okay, so betwixt and between states, I don't know if you've ever talked about your views and feelings on videoing a working and then putting it on YouTube. But I think that'd be an interesting chat to listen to. I say this because there are different schools of thought on the topic of working magics and discussing it or showing pictures or video of it. But I also think other information has to follow, like, are these after the fact when the working is finished or manifested already, or are they, say, live when it comes to a video for those who may stream live? I'm going to finish reading this. Or if put up on YouTube but not yet finished and manifested, what people feel about as to their own practice. So I know you have videos on magical workings and wondering if you've discussed this as a topic. I've never really discussed it as a topic. I've touched on it in small pieces here or there where I've talked about how there's more to the working after the fact. And it's important to understand that I would never give away everything, right? So that's like why we never talk when there's intentions, or usually I cut out that whole section and just replace it with music, because sometimes I am talking, right? Or saying little incantations, or saying a demon's N, or whatever the case may be. And it's not that I don't want you to hear the N, it's that I'm trying to raise the energy for that particular entity to come forward. And I'll talk more about N's in relation to demons in my Dancing with Demons Season 2 thingamajiggy that's slowly coming along. I've got some notes on like the first video. I'm just really lazy. I'm sorry. I'm just really lazy. But I never show everything. And I know that there are some witches out there who don't like to show their craft or talk about their magical workings. In fact, Solitary Luna is probably the most private person I know when it comes to talking about her craft or the types of workings that she does. Like, sometimes we'll talk about some of the things that she's doing, but it's not like she gives elaborate details and step-by-step instructions, right? And she's made that very clear. Like, she's a very private, very closed person when it comes to her craft. And I think a lot of witches are, especially the older witches out there. But then there are some of us who are a little younger, who like to bring you along for the journey, which is essentially what I like to do. I like to bring you guys along for the journey. I like to do working videos because they allow me to not just show my craft without any talking or distractions or anything like that, but also allow me to be artistic and make these little cinematic movies, right? I've said this before, I don't have an aesthetic altar. I don't have an aesthetic witchy practice. So the most aesthetic that I can get is my videos. I love editing my videos. I love chopping them up and making them, right? Like, that's one of the reasons I loved making the Grimoire series. And I do have a season 3 of that coming. I just don't know when. I know how I want to do it. I just don't know when. It's not going to be this year. I'm aiming for early next year, but it's a process to do the Grimoire because it is a series where I can just pour everything out that I am feeling and that I am experiencing, and that, you know how like sometimes artists will write their music and they'll put out like an album and it's just them pouring themselves into the album. That's how I feel with the Grimoires. I just pour myself into the Grimoire, and through my editing and the music that I choose and the subject matter that I cover, it just allows me to be artistic and express myself. It's a form of shadow work, essentially, is what it is. And it's a journey that I get to bring you guys along for. I remember when I was editing the trailer for the Grimoire season 2, I was just so excited. It was the first video in the series that I edited, and I was just like, or maybe it was a second. No, it was the second, because I did the first video and then I did the trailer based off of that video. And it was just, and doing the Grimoire is hard because there's a lot of editing that goes into it and a lot of little bits and pieces and timing things to the music and making sure that it has that kind of horror movie-esque vibe to it, but also witchy at the same time, because I want it's the witchy show, right? So I still want it to be witchy. But when it comes to doing the working videos, like I said, it's just this time where I can just sit down and I can conjure up the entities, and for like 20 or 30 minutes before my phone overheats or before the camera that it's being recorded on overheats, I can just record and I can just edit it later. And, you know, usually I don't cut anything out of them. Sometimes I will, like, if I have to get up from the altar and like go get something because I forgot it, obviously I'll like cut that part out, right? But it's just a way where I get to be, they don't get very many views. The working videos they're not popular, which is fine. I don't care, because that's just, I feel proud of the work that I put in to the video itself, but also the working. Now, going back to the topic here of doing magic, like recording it and putting it on YouTube, specifically the comment about, where did he say? or say they're live, right? Like I would never do witchcraft in a live chat because it feels, and this is just my opinion, so feel free to like completely disagree with me, but it feels disingenuous and it feels fake and it feels fraudulent and it feels not, I don't know, there's something about recording the working and then editing it and then uploading it, because it's never uploaded on, okay, not never, it's usually never uploaded on the same day that I've done the working. So if you've been paying attention since February when I uploaded the whole series of videos that you guys have been watching up until this point, we've been time traveling, right? So I've mentioned that like in some videos, I think even up into April, where it's like we're still in February, or I think we were just getting to February at the end of the current business of videos. We're just getting to the end of February. And then in June, we're going from February into March, maybe the end of March or something. So these videos, I don't mind uploading because they are well pre-recorded and the workings have been done and have either worked or failed. The Dentalian working that I did for my friend did work, but she pissed him off. And I told her. So the working was for her to pass an entrance exam to get into school. That's why somebody commented and said it looked like I was burning a tampon or something. It was because it was her admission thing that was wrapped around the candle, and it had burned down and it had just engulfed it. I had to put it out at one point because it was just, the flames were just getting a little too intense. And I was already told that it was done. So all she had to do was take the exam and she would have gotten in. However, you know, due to whatever choices she decided to make, she never took the entrance exam. And as we know, magic doesn't just stick around. It fades over time. And Dentalian doesn't give a time limit, but he knew after a couple weeks had gone by that it just wasn't going to happen. And he was pissed at me and he was pissed at her because it didn't go through. It didn't, like, I called upon him. I asked him for this. He said, yes, I'll do it. And it didn't happen. And he was just really angry. I've never pissed off a demon before. And there's been no ramifications from it, like, that I know of. Probably my apocalyptic dreams, but aside from that, one of the apocalyptic dreams that I had, we're going off topic again, is I was with this friend and we were at I don't know if it was a movie theater or like a theater where you would watch a play, but Whoopi Goldberg was there, but it wasn't Whoopi Goldberg, but it was Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know. And an asteroid had slammed into the Earth, and we had saw the star in the sky, and it had slammed into the Earth, but it slammed into the other side of the Earth. And we saw the news coverage of it, and it was apparently a small moon, and the entire side of the Earth looked like a hollowed out chocolate Easter egg. So you know those chocolate Easter eggs where there's nothing inside, and it's just like if you break away a piece, like there's literally nothing inside. It looked like that. It looked like somebody took a hammer and gently broke the other side of the Easter egg, and it was just hollow inside, and that's what the Earth looked like. And I was just sobbing, and Whoopi Goldberg kept handing out $5 to everybody because she knew the world was ending. I don't know. It was a weird dream. And I'm wondering if that was from Dentalian. I mean, most of the time, my dreams like when I stopped smoking weed, I had really, really vivid dreams. And that is one of the side effects of stopping smoking weed. Like I was a heavy smoker. And so I know that that's part of why I was having vivid dreams, but I also think that most of my vivid dreams come from the Morrigan of trying to relay messages, because we don't communicate with words. It's usually I will communicate with her through the tarot cards, but I haven't read the tarot cards in months and months and months. And so we haven't really talked for a long time. And so sometimes I think that's her way of communicating with me. I mean, it could be many things, but I'm going to go with that. Okay. Go on your TikToks. Call me fraudulent. So most of the working videos that I do are, unless it's like Halloween and I want to like, there was a video that you guys saw this year. Oh, what was it? I can't remember what it was called, but we were doing something and it was like literally Halloween night, but you saw it like in early February or so, or maybe it was March. And usually if I'm doing a working video on Halloween, I'll try to get it up the same night, but those aren't usually spells that I'm doing to attain things. Those are usually just offerings or giving thanks or honoring the spirits or the demons or the entities or whatever the hell it is that I'm working with at that particular moment in my life. And so those ones I don't mind going up right away. Like if it's not something that I'm trying to attain for myself, I'll usually put it up right away if it's a working video. But sometimes I want to record a series, like not like a series, but like a series of videos, kind of like what you guys have been getting. And I will put those up months later or like a month later because I'm lazy. It really does come down to me being very lazy. But in terms of people like live streaming their magic and showing you in real time what they're doing, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with it, but to me, it takes the magic out of it, right? Like seeing a working video that I've done and put up that's like 2 or 3 months old, I feel like there's still magic there. Like you can still feel the energy of the magical working, the atmosphere of the video, the music, the way I portray the working, like with the Dentalian working where at the end you guys got to see like timed kind of to the music where it flashed between the candle and the burning paper flame candle thingy, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's just more atmosphere there. So I would never do a working live. So the other part of the topic is that there's different schools of thought on the topic of working magic or discussing or showing pictures or videos of it. But I also think the information has to follow, like, are these after the fact? I don't really think any kind of information has to follow. I think there used to be a fear on YouTube of witches showing their magical workings and practices because in those days, there were individuals in the community who would attack your magic. They would use, or at least they would say that they would, or they would make videos, spoof videos, or like crap like that, right? And they would, I think there was that fear back then of showing too much of what it is that you're doing. And I think there's still kind of a conversation, not so much anymore, but a little bit maybe in the background, off the camera, behind closed doors, through text messages and such, about sharing too much of your craft and how it takes away from the mystery. And I think that there's two sides to that. I mean, there's a side that I agree with, but the other side that I don't is that you have to understand with YouTube, you're only seeing 20 minutes of that person, or maybe an hour, hour and a half long live of that person, right? You're not really seeing, it's not a reality TV show that's filmed in real time and is streaming to your phone or TV, and it's 24/7, 365, and you get to see what they look like when they're taking a shit, right? It's not one of those things. So you only see so much of that person. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know what's going on in the background. You don't know what's going on when the camera's turned off, right? Their life could be falling to pieces like mine is half the time. Their marriage could be over, but they're portraying a happy front on YouTube, right? Like just stuff like that. So I don't usually talk about how long ago a working video was done when it's uploaded. I don't usually talk about the working video itself. I mean, sometimes in the, like with the Grimoire series, I would show the working videos and I would talk about some of the stuff that we were doing. I think in season 2, once it had finished, I did that extra tidbit for where I showed you the working videos and we talked about the different types of magics that I was doing and what I was doing and so on and so forth. But that's really the only time where I was like, let's, you know. And usually when I put working videos in with the Grimoire, it's something to talk about afterwards, because one of the things I like to do is talk about the Grimoire afterwards and what it meant to me and what it was that I was trying to get across and so on and so forth. When it comes to I think there is a conversation around oversharing your craft, and I might be guilty of this. I don't know. I've been doing this for like almost 5 years now, and I have no qualms with showing you a lot of my craft and what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And as you guys already know, like half the time we're doing magical spells, or we're sitting down, or we're making incense, or we're making oils, or we're joking around, or we're talking about dead babies. You know how it is. Welcome to the Witchy Show, never a dull moment. And I think there is a conversation around oversharing, and sometimes I often wonder if I am guilty of oversharing my craft, but I don't really care so much. Because as I said before earlier in this live chat, you guys don't get to see everything. So just because we put intentions in a video and I light the candle and I'm like, I'm going away now, bye tubies. There's stuff that happens afterwards. And even though the next video that might be recorded like right after that one, I might make a joke and be like, oh, this was like, this is like what, 5 minutes later? You know, it's really not. It's probably, well, sometimes, but sometimes it's mostly like 15, 20 minutes later, because there's other stuff that I have to do afterwards, whether it's cleaning up the space or whether it's putting additional intentions in or actually contacting the entities that I'm trying to contact, because some of them are really difficult to call forth on camera. And like I said before, when you're doing, like when I'm doing like a educational video, or like I'm trying to explain what I'm doing or whatever the case may be, it's really difficult to switch from that into putting intentions in and manifesting that energy. So what I tend to do is I'll put some of the intentions in during the video, and then afterwards is when I can really manifest up the energy that I want to do. And I've often thought about recording that aspect, but I'm also worried about giving away too much. I think right now with the way that I do things, you get enough to understand what it is that I'm doing, but without overburdening you with like 20 or 30 minutes of like a musical scene, and then we go back to talking, right? With the working videos, like I said, it's really easy to just sit down, turn on the camera, and manifest the energy, because I can cut the video down if it's too long, or I can edited out to be artistic and cinematic. So I don't really like to talk about when it was done, especially if it's a working video, like this person was saying. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Also think other information has to follow, like, are these after the fact? You know, all of my working videos are usually always after the fact. If you really want a stone cold answer, like, it's always usually after the fact. Because there is a certain level of fear around other witches messing with what I'm doing, because a lot of you guys know I don't have the strongest of protections. I mean, I've got demons around me, and I've got their spiritual enclave that comes with them, and I've got the spirits, and I'm protected in that way. But it's not in a way like what you would imagine Tequila's protections to be like, or Solitary Luna's, or Lunar Wisdom's, or even Ember Honey Raven's, right? It's done in a way where I know that if something's coming, I will be alerted to it long before it gets here, and I can do something about it. And I've been really lucky in the 5 years that I've been on YouTube, where only a handful of times someone has tried to throw something at me, and I can usually throw it right back at them. So there is that aspect. So other people, like the other thing that he talks about is like are these after the fact when the working is finished and manifested already, or are they say live, you know, when it comes to a video, or if it's uploaded to YouTube but not yet finished and manifested, what people feel as to their own practices. I don't think I would ever upload, and again, I've done it a couple times, I'm sure, but I don't think I since have ever uploaded a video where it's still in the process of manifesting, or it's partially in the process of manifesting. I mean, on TikTok, I'll take little, 60-second videos of like, it might still be in the process of manifesting, but it's the idea there is it's a 60-second video. You're not getting enough information really to do anything about it. And because it's done on a phone, there's not enough of a camera angle to really kind of get a sense of the space to be able to astral project in and start messing around with it, right? Because that is a thing that some witches proclaim to do, where they'll take in the surrounding around the witch, and then they'll either astral project in, or they'll send their servitors or their entities in to mess with the other witch. And I think that's not really something that's done in the YouTube space, and I don't really think it's something that's easily able to be done on the TikTok space. I think it's easier to be done on the Facebook space, because a lot of people are sharing so much of their craft in both videos and photos in real time on Facebook to get feedback and questions and so on and so forth. And, by doing that in such a live environment, it's really easy for somebody to just start messing around with the working that you're doing. Like I said earlier today in my Dark Side of TikTok video, Facebook has its own drama and trouble when it comes to occult-based groups, and TikTok is just a nasty, toxic place. So these are places that I don't like to share real-time videos of what I'm doing. But YouTube, I don't really have a problem with it, because I'm not popular. I'm not like 1 million subscribers with 1 million views per video like the second it lands. But I still like to put some distance between when the working was done and when the video goes up. That was about it. That's all he had to say. So that's like my thoughts on those two subjects. Like I said, I know I would do it on Sunday, but I might have other things to talk about on Sunday, or I might not have anything to talk about on Sunday. I don't know. I've been liking these sit down kind of videos. I don't know what it is. I just want to talk about this for a second. I don't know what it is, but I like these kind of sit down videos because they do bring in more views as opposed to showing you guys things or whatever. I have been wanting to do more working videos. But I'm not sure what the community would think of that because, I mean, when I did the Dancing with Demons series, it was like 20 people per episode, and I was like, oh, okay, so I don't like this anymore. But I do miss doing working videos, and I like to throw a few in every now and then just to mix things up. Yeah. That's pretty much all I had to say, Tubies. I hope that you enjoyed today. Okay? Love you.